Alright, anywho, let's dive on into some 4-color hero Niv here. So hero refers to Hero of the Precinct One. And then we've got Niv-Mizzet Reborn here. So it enters play, reveal the top 10 cards of your deck, and then reveal cards that are pairs of colors. From each color pair, you can grab one. One thing that's a touch awkward in this deck is notably this card only gives you cards that are exactly color pairs. So it unfortunately does not grab Kaalia, and it does not grab Nicol, Bolas, the Ravager, sadly. But it can grab all these other 2-color things. One thing that's interesting in here is we have 4 copies of Guild Globe to allow us to kind of filter colors a little bit, and Cantrip. So unlike Chromatic Lantern, which provides lasting fixing, this build, this card is one-shot fixing, but it also draws a card afterwards, which is neat. So let's go ahead and dive on into some matches with this one and see how it goes. Can Izzet Phoenix still be tier cow hungry? I agree. I agree that it's definitely still tier cow hungry. I'm going to keep this because it gets to cast hero on 2. I have a Scryland, and any blue source makes us pretty happy. I'm going to bottom that digging for a blue source. I also just need like lands in general. Oh, right. There's a Field of the Dead in this deck. That's probably a little greedy. I have a Legion's End here. I keep mousing over my dork. Which figure? We played Twiddlestorm today. It was a bit of a rough set. If we miss on blue, we're going to have a bad time here. If we find blue... Can you play a non-greedy 5-color Niv deck? Yeah, definitely. I think the 5-color Niv deck on my website, for instance, is like more than reasonable. We've played that a few times in the past. Hey, there's a blue source. Child of Night. I think I'm gonna Teferi and bounce Child here.
I'm known for my excellent kite power protection.
So that it puts them back the most. That if field was any colored land, we could have cast Niv. No, it needed to specifically be a white or red source, right? Which, it was lucky we drew a white source there. Five mana, draw 6, draw 4, 6, 6. Not bad. .jpg. So we'll go Oathakaya here. Shoot this. We'll play Teferi, bounce the Oathakaya.
You show remorse. I've got time.
Look at that. We were saying the field of dead is greedy. Triggered it on 7. GG easy. Yes. No, it's not. That's not new. It's always auto-selected if there's no double ups.
Might be a bad idea.
Do 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 do. Yeah, I feel like when we hit our blue source, this game moves solidly into unlosable territory. Goodbye, Felicia. Yeah, I agree, Jin. Even though I'm kind of ready for the standard format to even though I'm kind of ready to get a fresh standard format, it's very refreshing even when I've been enjoying the gameplay on Magic Online to come back to Magic Arena because it's just so much more elegant. I did not. We played Twiddlestorm this morning. So I believe Abzan Blade will be at the top for tomorrow. Abzan Blade will be the second deck tomorrow. We're going to play Green Tron and Abzan Blade. So I played the decks in the queue out of order yesterday as a special Stoneforge Mystic Day. For moving forward, we're going to be going back to playing them in order as expected like we usually do. So I'm gonna play the queue from the top down. Huh? If I want to bring in all these removal spells, I need to cut 5 cards. Rampage is probably a little mediocre. Is it crazy to just cut Hero? They had Disfigure in their deck. I'm just going to cut the heroes and play a bunch of removal at the bottom end. Let's do that. Pretty easy mulligan there. Medium magic hand, even if it is a fine Hearthstone hand. This is a keep. I think I actually bought him the globe here, since I have the Chromatic Lantern. We've not, Larynx. Although I did have someone donate to get that re-added to the queue. So we'll be getting in there at some point. Yeah, Legion's a good pickup. Opponent kept a 1-lander, it looks like. Some tough mana issues on their side these games. Carry on, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are gone. Do 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 do. So obviously I could carry on and take my 2-for-1 there, but I think I'd much rather just wait and get some more value out of it in the future. I'm gonna go ahead and trophy this now, giving them a land, because this way if they have a 1-drop, they'll play it out, and then I can Clarion a 3-for-1 next turn. Basically, I don't mind if they use the extra mana this turn. I guess if they have exactly Duress, I get a little bit punished for this sequence. I don't think I want to go lower than 14. Just on the off chance they have some copies of Sorin. I don't want to be too greedy with my health total. Looks like they're playing like mono black vampires. Is that a good one? What do we think? Huh? I think I'll take the extra threat here, just in case they have a removal spell for Niv. I'm gonna go ahead and trophy this so they don't get a card draw out of it. Very angry Muldrifter. He's bigger than a Muldrifter, thank you very much. Modern was kind of a dumpster fire this morning. Yeah, rewarded. Got me a 4K TV just in time for Stoneforge for a new interest in spreadsheets. Thanks for the tier 2, Vetastrip. I really appreciate that. Be sure to take a peek at the deck queue. Let me know if there's anything in there you'd like to see a bit sooner. People that support my stuff dictate what we do and when we do it, as always. The more I played the Twiddlestorm deck, the less impressed with it I am. This card was, like, kind of omnipresent for a hot second, right? Well, Twiddlestorm was what we played this morning. Again, a little bit playing with fire here in the event my opponent draws a Duress. But if they don't draw a Duress, Time Wipe's a great one to have. So, get an extra card out of it here. I'm going to go ahead and block both of these, preserve my health total, and the next turn will Time Wipe. Good call. Bye, friends. Waiting on a Niv-Mizzet or another threat here. Dread Presence, a very good pickup. Means their swamps are no longer dead draws. Getting punished for using Oathakaya earlier as opposed to Legion's End, since they now have a threat that we could kill with Oathakaya, but we can't Legion's End. The Guild Globes don't do anything, because I have Chromatic Lantern out. Hey, look. Piece of candy. Murder, she wrote. Rude. How about if we ended Dread Presence's entire career?
Blood calls to your soul.
So, pretty clean turn here, right? We get to go Legions and this. Trophy this. Aurelia pass. Yeah, just like wipe their board, play an Angel, play a Scryland. And like they're at 32. We've got some work to do, but we're in a pretty good spot. Hey, Bulletproof Pope, thanks for the 2.5 years. I appreciate that. Welcome. I think we're supposed to trophy the Soaring because it makes any vampires they draw scary. That's true. Field of the Dead would be a good draw. In fact, I'm going to start holding non-Scrylands I draw at this point because Field of the Dead's in my deck and they could possibly make zombies later. Second 4-power flyer sounds great. Sure. Well, that was almost a big boo-boo. That one. That one. Well, on one side of the table, I didn't draw anything. On the other side of the table, it's almost like I drew 6 cards. It's almost, to be a glass half full kind of person this morning, it's like we drew 6 cards there. You see Pithing Needle and Phyrexian Revoker getting more play now that Stoneford missing a ban? Nope. I think Modern's going to be mostly more of the same. I think they made a selection of decks weaker, but that's a good thing. I'm going to play this because it scries. One Soggy Ramen, thank you for the brand new Prime support. And there's a lot of great people. You can chip that to every single month here on Twitch. Thanks for keeping me around this month with that. Great, so they go to 8, which gives me 3 lethal threats, or 3 threats, any 2 of which are lethal. Have a good one, Ace. So, I even think we're going to see just more of the same graveyard decks that even had Faithless Looting previously, just because people just like do the easy upgrades in them that make sense. Hey, well, welcome to a live one, Ramen. I'm glad you enjoyed the YouTube stuff. I appreciate the support. Hope you're having a great Thursday wherever you are. Is this Niv actually? I think this Niv's a great card. So this isn't my preferred version of 5-color Niv-Mizzet, but if you go on my website, you can find a build of Yarok and 5-color Niv up there. It doesn't have the Angel sub-theme and Hero plan that this one has, but it's very, very reasonable control / mid-range deck in the format. Yeah, Grishelbrand loses some of the explosiveness that it has, but I think it's still like a fine turn 3-4 combo deck. Yeah, I think Dredge is going to be very reasonable. I would not be surprised to see Dredge put up results this weekend. Have you played Niv in Modern? We have, in fact, 0-3 to League with Niv in Modern. Niv is not the type of card that's Modern playable. It's the type of card that if people throw enough wet noodles at the wall, they'll eventually put up a League result with it. Mole drifters aren't good in Modern. Not even big ones. Looks like we're playing against, looks like our opponent is playing the deck that we're actually going to play after this one, which is the 4-color Kethis combo. Been really impressed with the opponent's deck. Very strong combo deck. Double Excavator here. We're probably going to lose in 2 turns. That's an uncastable trophy. So, the way my opponent's deck works is they use these excavators to mill themselves, and then eventually they cast Kethis, which allows them to replay a bunch of the legends that they put into their graveyard.
I know I noted this somewhere.
Listen, all I'm going to say about Bant Soulherder is that Modern's a format about following your heart. So if you love being derpy and mopey with Bant Soulherder, you should play Bant Soulherder. All I'm going to say about the archetype in general is that Gabriel Nassif is probably one of the top 5 or 10 Magic players of all time who's ever played the game. So his ability to win with the deck in no way, shape, or form reflects the actual power level of that deck. Because he is much better at Magic than a normal human being is. Try 4 mana Vraska. It worked well in those matches where Mox are hiding on the bottom of your deck. Why is 4 mana Vraska good in those matchups? I don't understand. They have a bunch of 1/3s. I can't cast my spells. Yikes. Oh, I could have cast this, I guess. We're pretty dead here. Even if I cast a 4/3 there, we were going to die next turn. Alright, so Legion's End is great here. Ego is great. Trophy is fine. These slow things, the top end, are not very good. 3 mana Teferi's a little whatever. Angrath Rampage is really bad against their Tamiyo deck. I don't think that's strictly true, MF. I played the opponent's deck a good deal, and you can definitely win without Kethis. You just don't combo kill them. Yeah. I think that's part of the reason why my stream is engaging for people. Is because watching me play Magic is much closer to watching a normal human being play Magic. There's plenty of mistakes to see here. I think this seems reasonable. I want to keep all these flying threats so I can go over the top of them. Oath of Kaalia takes Excavator off the table at least, so I think that's fine. Yeah, the opponent's deck is really awesome. I think it's very competitive too. Very likely going to be a cornerstone of the historic format when that drops in the fall. This hand's great. Yeah, Oath does tag Laz. It misses Kethis notably, but that's fine. I would like to take your hands away now. Hide this. Yeah, like 90% of playing Magic Arena works well on mobile. The problem is getting that last 10% of situations can be awkward. We're going to see an excellent example of why this card's not as popular anymore here in about 30 seconds. As I pay 4 mana for my card, and then my opponent pays 3 mana for their card and sends it back to your hand.
I know my responsibility.
I don't think you understand how the opponent's deck works if you think they generate infinite mana, Meadow. Because their deck isn't actually an infinite deck, it's a large finite. Past that, because my deck isn't super aggressive, my deck will lose to Kiesis, just generating value as the game goes along. So it's important to take Kiesis out not only as a combo piece, but also because it stops them from generating long-term value. I think I'm keeping that because I don't have a green source yet.
Let's try this.
You're not wrong about that, Rubo. People definitely always... Many think they're always better than the person that sits there playing Magic 10 hours a day or whatever it is. I'm gonna kill Tamio here, actually, I think.
Stop interrupting me.
Rather than letting her sit there and generate value.
I have learned all I can here.
Got a flash. Thanks for doling out a sub gifty. Happy Thursday. Hope you're having a good one. Good morning, Will.
Here we go.
Mr. Streamer, it's the biased shuffler keeping me from the Pro Tour. Yep. The shuffler is out to get you, I'm sure. I would like to issue a small correction there, hostage. I am not the king of Hoaglandia, I am but the humble jester. I'm just the person that's here to dance for your entertainment. Here's the slow mill here. The slow fair excavator grinding you down. I guess with a 3/3, I don't really need to give this vigilance, huh?
We will meet again.
I get 2/2s now, too. 2/2s are busted, chat. I don't really have a deck in Modern that I like right now. So I don't really have a good answer for you. Pretty clean game here on our end. Had a little bit of disruption. We egoed one of their combo pieces, then closing out here in the air pretty efficiently. I don't know, Punchworthy. I will say that getting to hold up Stoneforge Mystic activation on 3 or holding up Stoneforge Mystic activation on 3 or a Spell Queller is kind of sweet. Indie Terror, thank you for the sub gifty. Happy Thursday.
I think you will find my notes helpful.
Ruinous Blast would have been medium bad there. We had 2 legendary flyers. I think I'm happy with how this played out. I'm going to go ahead and click submit. Do I want these Deafening Clarions? Is it possible Hero's just not good here in the face of all their 1/3s? That might actually be the case, huh? What do we think of that? I think I kind of like it. Yeah, I'm gonna play Time Wipe 2. Let's do that. Yeah, if you go to my website there, magicesports.net, and you click standard decks and scroll down to the memes section, you'll find a Kaikar combo deck in there that's pretty sweet. So Guild Globe here, gonna fix our mana to allow us to cast the Sun Mordigo on 3 very nicely. The sound effect on that is very nice. Don't play Akesis. Don't play Akesis. Don't play Akesis. Don't play Akesis. Rats. Just an Ashiok deal. Nightmares. My epilogue of fear. Did they add anything else in after they got egoed last game? Nope, looks pretty stuck. So now this Ashiok is going to turn her viciousness towards me. That's pretty unfortunate. So I think I'm gonna Oathakaya nothing because I can't actually cast that card this turn. Let's go ahead and kill this Teferi before it gets to draw a card. Welcome to Hoglandia, Invictus Rage. Happy Thursday. Proceeds to never talk again. $33 cards in my deck, so what do I want to do here? I think it's just Aurelia this turn. Because playing Aurelia this turn means next turn I can play double 3-mana spell, which is nice. And like this is going to mill 4 more off my deck, but then Aurelia can kill it before it mills even more, which is great. All right, so how about if we... Oh, I should have Clarion pre-combat to gain life, right? That was a mistake. So how about if we Clarion and then... So I miss gaining 4 life. How about if we ego... How about if we ego their Lazes, since they have one of those in their hand? Although Laz in their hand doesn't really do anything, right? Is it just Excavator? I think it's just Excavator. I think I just don't want to get milled out by mistake. Yeah, they have a couple Tashars in their deck. Maybe Tashar was the take, actually. That's probably true. Maybe I'm supposed to take Tashar. I think that's my favorite, when people like gift subs and someone's like, oh, thanks for giving me the gift of speech, and that same person's like, yeah, and I'm gonna take it away for 10 minutes now. It's like Picoglandia. Just like, and it's gone. So they're gonna get to Oathakaya something and buy another turn here, but we should be pretty good. Be pretty surprised they have a catch-up mechanic from this spot where we have 2 cards in our hand like this. They're hoping to draw, like, what's their best sequence? Their best sequence is like 4 mana Tameo, pick up 3 mana Teferi, bounce Aurelia. So we need one more brick out of them. Oh, you know what? I should probably hold the lands at this point because I have Field of the Dead in my deck. I don't need the extra lands out. It's marginal, but a percentage point to gain for sure. Yep. That doesn't get them out of it, but it gives them a redraw at least. Do-do-do. 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 Beep, 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 do-do-do. Look at all of our golden gems, chat, and experience. We're so good at this. So good. So, here's an interesting question for the chat, and this is probably something I'm going to put in a sub-survey at some point before I make the decision, but we're interested in doing some historic content when things rotate in the fall, right? I feel like I want to do at least 1 day a week of historic for the arena segment that day. Maybe even 2. And we'll see where the standard ends up at. I think my plan is like for the first week to 2 weeks we'll do all standard, but then put Historic in for 1 to 2 days a week and see how we feel about it. Because I think this standard format is very reasonable, and I wouldn't mind, like, while I'm ready for a change now, I think I will miss playing some of the decks in this format. Wouldn't mind going back and revisiting them and giving them some small upgrades. Yeah, it'll definitely be more interesting once they add more sets. I agree with that. But I think even right off the bat, there's going to be some value in... So we play Godless Shrine, and then we have red, black, Clifftop Retreat, Kaalia, which is sweet. Good solid curve here. We also have the option to shock Watergrave and play Time Raveler. Mana working out really well this game. What are the historic sets? To start, it's just going to be this standard format. Alright, Enter the God Eternals probably doesn't have text against whatever they're doing. So we'll discard that. Yeah, it'll be this standard plus 1 set. So there'll be some small upgrades probably, but likely just the standard format. So I think I'm just playing Seraph here. And then next turn I can go 5th land, Chromatic Lantern, 3-drop, bounce this. How do I expect Rampaging for us to impact the format? I think it's just going to give the red decks better tools to fight against the Field of the Dead and Scapeshift decks, which is a good thing, I think, overall.
Right on schedule.
Yep.
Oh, I've done the hero thing.
So if I had to venture to guess, I would bet this matchup's probably bad for us. Does Aristocrats want copies of Frostodon? Yeah, probably. Probably. How many? I'm not sure offhand, but definitely a non-zero number.
Hardly my worst defeat. Suppose that's how it was meant to happen.
Once rotation hits, will we still be able to buy packs from the old sets? I would think so. I would imagine Wizards of the Coast wants to continue taking your money for anything that you will give it to them for, but I don't know that with certainty. Nice, Greg. Yeah, I think it's a good deck for winning games for sure. You read an article that said yes, but you won't earn old stuff as rewards. That makes sense. All of the randomly generated cards will be standard legal stuff. I think that's a great middle ground position. So this lets me trade my Niv for their Gatebreaker. And if they, like, go to kill one of my things in response, we just trophy their thing in response, which is fine. So I've got 7 mana total here. So unfortunately, I can't double 4 next turn, which kind of sucks. Probably just Niv-Mizzet again, plus Scryland. Alright, that lets me double 4. I think I'm just gonna do this because if they have a Gates Ablaze, they probably want to cast it this turn. Tyrant Scorn is perfect. Mass Manipulation would be bad for us. That's basically a card we can't beat. I'm gonna leave that there. Oh, Tristani beats it. Yeah, that's true. So, this puts them to 6. Which lets us Oath, Teferi, Oath them again and kill them if they don't gain life here. So even if they clear my board, we get to kill them next turn with Oath of Kaalia. Looks like we're gonna expansion this Gates Ablaze here. This is like old school Gates. So we make some tokens, then those tokens go away. But we have them dead to Teferi next. Teferi plus Oath next turn. Assuming they don't gain life here. They have Plaza of Harmony. We could be in trouble. No Plaza. Alright, so we're going to lead on this. So that way they can't kill this in response.
Let's slow this down.
Lightning Helix that you can rebuy with Teferi is busted, chat. I'm pretty sure we're boarding Oath out in this matchup, but it felt pretty good there. Enter's bad. Oath is bad. Scorn and Rampage are fine. Ego versus Veto. How do we feel about these cards? Which do I want and why is that the one that I want? I think Hero's fine. Hero's like a card that's like an army in a can to encourage them to have to Gates Ablaze, like our one card. Yeah, they don't have that many threats, right? Let's do this. It could be that I want Legion's End as a couple, just because it exiles Krasis and takes any other Krasis they drew out of their hand. This hand could use some untapped lands, but we've got some scries. We did not see Colossus out of them. Doesn't mean they don't have it, though. Perfect. So we get to go Temple of Mystery, Temple of Silence, Sacred Foundry, untapped. Take your thing away. It is worth noting the slightly awkward Sacred Foundry does not bring either of my buddy lands into play untapped, though. Now, my opponent had a pause there, which to me implies that... Okay, there wasn't a pause, maybe? Maybe? Alright, so what are we egoing? It's probably just Hydroid Krasis to start, right? I have a Tyrant Scorn in my hand. So they have 2 Expansion Explosions, a Sarkhan's Unsealing, Gatebreaker Ram. There's one Colossus. There's 3 Colossus. There are multiple unsealings in here. Yeah, they've got a Banefire and a bunch of blanks in the grip, but worth noting, a bunch of these are gates, so they're going to get to redraw cards with this this guild summit. I get to get down Nicol Bolas next turn, which is not irrelevant. Gets to pressure their hand a little bit. That's a good draw. Whips and chains, chat. Whips and chains. He put up a green screen and a green shirt and put his face over the Planeswalker avatar. That sounds funny. So white, red, black, blue, green. So I can play this and then I can Niv next turn. The Guild Globes have actually felt very reasonable so far. And one of the reasons why they're so reasonable is in large part due to the fact that, like, even when they're not amazing, they still just draw a card, right? The biggest issue with the green screen is that in my current setup, it would have to go in between me and my snacks, which sounds like I'm a big fan of my snacks. Hey, Rivera, good morning. The gates ablaze, gates ablaze. I think we're probably dead at this point. I was pretty surprised we were able to steal game 1. This type of matchup tends to greatly favor the Gates deck just because we don't have any good way to, like, shut down their guild summits. It's like they're just gonna kill us with Banefires and Expansion Explosions here. Yeah, they already had a summit in play, Rivera. I won game 1, so I was on the draw. So if they didn't have a guild summit in play, I think you're right that that's the take, but I think because they already had one out, it was not correct. Ugh. I mean, this format's very similar to Modern. There's a lot of decks that do not have a lot of redundant threat density, which makes Unmoored go a lot better than it was in previous formats. Hey, extras. Thanks for the tier 2 resub. I appreciate that. Life is swell. Hope your Thursday is finding you well. I don't think I've seen a meta deck in this queue yet. I mean, we just played against the Kisis combo. That's definitely a meta deck. I was playing a Yarok Field Mirror. We cast Ego 8 times in one match. I beat them down with a Risen Reef. God bless. Graxer, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I hope life is treating you swell. Thanks for keeping me around. I feel like I'm inclined to keep this, if only because it has some temples in it. Like, I feel like the bar for a keepable hand is lower in a 5-color deck, like when I have all my colors. Yeah, the Kisis deck put 2 people into the upcoming Mythic Championship. 2 different people qualified with it. Twiddlestorm or Neobrand? I think Neobrand's a much better deck. Lego off. Thank you for the 16 months of support. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me around. Summit would have been the take if they hadn't had a turn 3 on the play. Or turn 2 on the draw. Why didn't Neobrand pop off like everybody thought it would? Because it's not actually consistent or good. It's a meme deck. It's like marginally more consistent than previously similar meme decks, but it's still not that good. Oh, their Moldify is just going to destroy us. Nah, I'm not playing the fandom tournaments anymore. The downtime between rounds just sucks. It just makes for really dry content. And the downtime combined between rounds, combined with the fact that when I'm O2, they expect me to keep playing, just makes it not worth it. My time is worth significantly more than being trapped in a tournament for 3 more hours on a Thursday afternoon. When I'm almost guaranteed to get nothing for doing so. The expected value is low. Yeah, a lot of the Neobrand hype was generated around people not really understanding the details. Wow, that's rude. Yeah, I did see the 2-color Niv there. I was expecting it to Kaalia after that, but they had a negate, so yep. It's all a business perspective thing, Elijah. This is my job. So like a lot of the people that compete in the fandom tournament, like they don't stream as their job, right? So like if I'm playing in the fandom tournament, it effectively costs me money on average to play in that tournament. Because the content is less popular and I would love a Niv-Mizzet. And it means I'm not playing through my deck queue. And it's more effort on my part to like try and make it somewhat manageable. Yeah, it's a very, very real opportunity cost. When like, you know, Magic's a pretty high variance game and like expecting to do better than 2-3 in any given week is like not realistic. So on the average week you're getting $0 and like having to exert effort and make worse content while doing so. Yeah, I don't think we can win from here. Maybe. Tyrant scoring and more threats is a good start.
This might be a bad idea.
Howdy, Mad Chicken. That block probably means we're about to get Gates Ablazed. So otherwise, they'd want to save it to chump block the 6/6 next turn. Yeah. My opponent mulligan to fight this game. Like I said, this is the kind of our deck that we're playing is basically a mid-range deck, and it's just a mid-range deck where Niv-Mizzet, even though he's a really powerful card, the card advantage he generates just can't keep up with the over-the-topness of a lot of the card advantage these other decks in the format have. Yeah, that's true. That's true too, Rhino Garth. If I want to play in the fandom tournament, I have to commit to like playing through a bunch of stuff. Honestly, the biggest issue with it isn't even the downtime. It's the fact that they don't let me O2 drop. I'm an adult with a family. Like spending another 3 hours playing a tournament that we're dead to rights in is just like not a good use of my time. That's unfortunate. Gaz Fiend, thanks for the half a year of support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around.
Welcome to the family.
Yep, I'm here. I'm here most days. Not planning to go anywhere anytime soon. As long as the internet will have me, I'll be around. I feel like this is a hero out matchup. I'm really not. I feel like this card's been super lackluster in these games we've played so far. Just kind of clunky and unimpressive. This hand needs to hit some lands, but we have a couple of scries. Modern was a dumpster fire this morning. Yeah, I agree, Matt. The games we've been winning have been because we've had a lot of good flying creatures. How'd the Stoneforge stream go? Thanks for the 8 months, Modian. It was all right. To set an exceedingly low bar, the format seems like it's a bit better than it was previously. How so? We played the Twiddle Storm deck again for the second time. It was a lot less impressive the second time through. Perfect. So we get to scorn something and we can drop a Nikki B next turn. It might be right to kill the Lord here. I save 1 point of damage by killing an attacker rather than killing the Lord. I feel a little like the idea behind taking 1 less damage there is Nick kind of stabilizes the board, but in the event my opponent has a removal spell for this next turn, I get a little bit punished. Yeah, I agree with that too, extras. Stoneforge Mystic mirrors are a little bit of a slug. In fact, we're not playing all Stoneforge Mystic decks moving forward. So I did all Stoneforge Mystic decks yesterday, but we're going back to just playing the queue from the top down. So like tomorrow morning, for instance, I currently have slotted it's gonna be Green Tron and then Abzan Blade. It's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I'm actually just trading here. So I have another one. So I'd probably take straight black-white if someone submitted it. But honestly, the more I look at the decks and I think about the cards, I don't really think there's a compelling reason to stay straight black-white and not play Abzan. I mean, mono red tends to not be great in the face of in the face of Batter Skulls. Just wanted to say thanks for playing Cobblade. I watched the YouTube video, and I want to thank you for the horror movie that was my beginner experience in competitive Magic. Thanks for the 4 months, Bill Smash. What's going on, Slammin'? Turn 3. They have to have removal spell for Stoneforge, or you get it turn 3. A lot of the Stoneforge decks too, one of the important things to remember is that the types of decks that Stoneforge Mystic goes into tend to be reasonable against aggro decks a lot of the time. Like the tools they have surrounding them in addition to Stoneforge Mystic also tend to be decent. Deck submissions get looked at post-stream. That is correct. Sometime this evening. Usually, my daily ritual is I stream from 7 to 2. I do a little bit of post-stream work getting stuff onto YouTube from 2 to 2:30. I go get Jacob off the bus, and then about somewhere between 3 and 5 o'clock, I respond to deck submissions. Then you're cutting disfigures for cast downs. I think I would still want a bunch of disfigures in the 75, just because disfigure is pretty important in the vampires matchup. But I do think that playing cast down in the main deck is not unreasonable. I think that sounds like a fine hedge. I'm gonna lead on Sulfur Falls here on 1 because Temple Garden does not bring this into play untapped. What do you think is the best set to buy a box of, most useful for standard cards? So, in Paper Magic, the best way to go about getting the cards you want is always buying singles. So if you're looking for the most cost-efficient way to get specific cards that you want to play with, my recommendation would be going to a place like CoolStuffInc.com, who's one of my wonderful sponsors, and checking out them. Code Jeff5 gets you 5% off. You can also shop around at a variety of other sites, but in general, regardless of where you're buying them, singles is the ideal way to accrue the cards that you want. The only reason to buy product is to buy sealed products if you're getting an absurd discount or if you're looking to play limited. You're someone who enjoys drafting and you're going to draft a set with your friends regardless. Buy whatever set you would enjoy drafting the most. Magic Investor. Oh, MTG Finance. So I think I want to just kill this right away before it can get bigger. I get all my new cards from anti-games just like Richard Garfield intended. God bless. Don't draw 4, 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 don't draw 4. Regardless of what this Sorin does, it's not a very good scene for us, but at least it didn't draw 4. So the problem with Growth Spiral is that Growth Spiral isn't mana fixing. So the idea behind Globe is that Globe helps you actually cast your spells. Whereas Growth Spiral can accelerate you, but Growth Spiral also puts a very specific demand on what colors you need early in order to cast it. Does selling one's collection for a profit count as an investment? Maybe. we're pretty dead here. They can just, like, assuming their hand is all blanks, we're not beating the board. So, as far as this was concerned, I feel like Hero was a pretty big miss for me. Not only does this card not really have... Not only does this card put blanks into our deck that Niv-Mizzet doesn't hit, but just like... I felt like the creatures we were creating on average a lot of the time were just like irrelevant or slow or clunky. And a lot of the games I was winning was just because I had evasive threats in the air. And I felt like a majority of my games would have been better off if these heroes had just been removal spells. Guild Globe was fine. I think this was reasonable. I definitely don't like playing too many Chromatic Lanterns. The overall land count in this deck felt a little bit low. We definitely stumbled a number of times. Although I guess Guild Globe helps that a little bit since it draws extra cards. Overall, I think part of the problem with this set of threats is that a lot of decks have just enough removal that we're kind of just like turning on our opponent's removal spells with these cards. So like we're not able to actually block inside of combat with them, which means we just get run over a lot of the time. So I think I prefer overall the little bit bigger version that I've played in the past that played top ends like Niv and Golos and whatever the worm is called, the rampaging worm or the 4/5 that fights something. So that's the list you'll find on my site at the very least. All right, at any rate, we're going to dive on into our next standard deck of the day. We got some Kesis, 4-color Kesis combo.